Hey there everyone, it's Helen. I'm the national artist for Sephora collection, and today's video is all about taking short curly hair to straight. So I'm going to show you my tips and tricks as well as some great products to make sure that your hair is protected and also is super shiny and sleek at the end. Okay, so the first product I use is usually when my hair is wet. This is the Amika Supernova Blonde Violet Moisture Shine Cream. So this does a little bit of everything. It gives you moisture, it gives you shine, and it heat protects your hair. So I love to use this when my hair is wet. It also has a slight violet tone to it, so it's great if you have blonde hair. If you don't have blonde hair, they also make one that doesn't have the violet tone, and it's just called Supernova. So definitely check this out. I love this moisture and shine cream. I never know what I'm gonna do with my hair, so I always start with some kind of heat protectant. I like to really make sure that my hair is super heat protected, so I use the Dry Bar Hot Toddy Coconut Colada. This is great. It protects your hair up to 450 degrees, which is not necessary for the tool I'm gonna use, but you never know. You might have something different at home. So this is just really great. You have to do it in sections. It's a mist, so it goes in really fine. The nape of my neck is generally a little bit curlier and much harder to get to, so I like to do that first. It's kind of key with short hair. You really have to get into this like short curly parts that are just really hard. And also my hair is thicker in the back, which is pretty common, I think. So I'll just show you how I like to section my hair. So this might not be perfect, but I do it in like a U shape. So it's kind of doing that U all the way across, maybe even do a little less in the top. Do it again. So I want this layer to be like pretty thin, and that feels like a good amount of hair to start with the straightening. And I always clip it up, and then I'm gonna show you, this is such a cool styler. Okay, so this is the GHD Unplugged. It's so cool. It doesn't have a plug to it. It's great for on the go, and it heats up in 30 seconds. So super fast. I think it goes up to 365, so it's like a really nice heat. It's nothing that's gonna hurt your hair. And even more fun, if you are like me and you like your hair straight, but you live in a humid place, you can take it on the go with you, and even if it's hot, you can just turn it off and pop it in here, and it's like a heat protectant bag. So if you live in a place where they like misters, this is great as a touch-up. I usually take it by section, and you can either comb through with your fingers. I like to comb through with like a comb. With the Hot Toddy, you really, really want to shake it just to make sure it's all mixed up. And then, because it's a mist, you don't really need to worry about it getting wet or anything like that. It's very fine. And then you can just go right in. And I always go out and under. And usually I have to make a couple of passes on my hair to make it go straight and lay the way I want it to lay. And you have to take like your fingers and just kind of pull the curls down and then straighten. So sometimes when you're going section by section, it takes a little bit longer to do the nape of your neck because it's such short hair and you don't want to burn yourself with the straightening iron. So you just have to go slowly on this section. Once you can pull your hair a little bit more and have that tension, that really helps to like straighten your hair. So the shorter pieces, it's a little hard to grab onto and straighten. And I pay attention the most to the front of my hair, and I always tell people if you only have like a couple minutes, pay the most attention to the front of your hair because that's really what people are seeing the most, and you can really perfect the top layer the most, and that way you don't have to sweat making every single piece super duper straight if you don't have the time. I really prefer my hair to be like a full transition, so I like to make sure I have time to really get it to be perfectly sleek. And I always feel like, especially curly hair people have cowlicks, so they have like a growth pattern that twists a little bit, and I have one right at the crown of my head, so usually I have to straighten more there too and just do more passes over my hair. That's looking pretty good for the base, and now I'm just gonna go into the next layer of my hair. So you can also use the end of this to section off if you need. And again, it doesn't really have to be perfect, just not like too much hair. You want it to be nice and like thin enough layers so that you can really get a good heat on both sides of the hair or on all parts of your hair. I comb through again, make sure there's no frizzy ends, use the heat protectant mist, and you can be generous with the mist. And then just do the next step and straighten. Okay, so now I'm going to take out the top layer. If you have thicker hair, you can certainly do more sections and do it that way. As I said, you want to make sure that when you're straightening it, it's a thin enough layer of hair that you're really getting the heat and being able to straighten it all the way through. So I always comb through because you don't want fuzzy ends, and you really want to make sure that none of your hair is going to get like crunched in there. So brush it downward. A hefty amount of the heat protectant spray. Okay, so take a small section, and my real big tip is to kind of go in a U. First, this will prevent your hair from getting that like crinkle. Sometimes when you're straightening your hair, you end up with like a crinkle line. It happens to everybody, and you can usually fix it pretty easily. But if you go in this like pull it out and taut, you'll avoid getting that crinkle. So I can kind of see I have a little bit of like a dent or a line, if you know what I mean by a crinkle. So I'll just go back over it to make sure it's nice. And then because I did it upward, you can see now I have like a little bit of flyaways, but I have a trick for that afterwards. So I'm also taking my hair and like kind of fluffing it after, and that's just to cool off the hair so I don't go over it too many times. And also, the hair's too hot for you to touch, so you don't want to like burn your hand. So just to kind of cool it all down. Now let's go into the other side. If you're finding that it's like maybe a little bit more difficult for certain areas to straighten, just go a little slower and pull through. And I have a cowlick right here, so my hair is always like much more difficult to get straight there, and also like at the crown of my head. So just always keep an eye out on those areas. Okay, and I think that is looking pretty great. Okay, so the final step is to just put some oil in to just smooth any of the flyaways, and also just to give it that ultimate like sleek look. This is an amazing product. It is the Kerastase Blonde Absolute Hair Strengthening Oil, and this is just really great for like flyaways and also just giving you that really silky, like shiny effect, which I just love when you have a sleek hair. And my hair is very dry, so I feel like I put a lot in my hair, and it might look oily at first, but it absorbs within like an hour. So I prefer to put in quite a bit, but if you don't have such dry hair, just one pump is probably plenty, especially for short hair. Sometimes I do 2 pumps, so just use your best judgment with that. I usually go in like really lightly at the top, and then kind of work the wet rest in the bottom, and then go like down the rest of my hair, and that just gives it the ultimate like hydrated look. All right, there we go, nice and sleek and shiny. Okay, that is it. So I love to treat before you heat. I feel like my hair is still really healthy. It looks really shiny and nice. If you have any tips or tricks for short hair and how to get it straight, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to subscribe. And until next time, bye everyone.